hotel as well. The small road that's the next one on the left, obviously we're not going to go down it, it's the entrance to the Savoy Hotel. All London taxis need a turning circle of 23 feet so they can get around the small roundabout that's just inside the Savoy Hotel. It's also the only road in Britain that you drive on the right. There we go. In England we drive on the left because we're right. In America they drive on the right because they left, etc, etc. The Savoy Hotel, you can see, is just sort of finishing off. They've just had a refurbishment. It's gone £250 million over budget. Wow. Whatever that would have been before, astronomical. If you fancy staying there though, you can stay in the Savoy Hotel. £3,500 for one night. Here's the catch, you need to book 3 nights minimum. If you want to go for dinner there as well, so you've got a group of 13 of you, what will happen? You can book the table, 13 people to go there, and you will be joined by a 14th member, that is Casper. Not a friendly ghost, Casper is a wooden cat. You'll be joined by Casper the wooden cat because there's a superstition. If you go for a dinner with 13 people to the Savoy Hotel, on the way home, one of you will die. So, to make sure this doesn't happen, you are joined by Casper the wooden cat, who also gets served a complete full meal as well. You can take that home in a doggy bag. But yeah, you get joined by Casper the cat if you're in a group of 13. Don't want to take any chances with that one, do they? Also, the very first concierge of the Savoy Hotel was Cesar Ritz. He was sacked eventually because he stole £7,500 worth of wine. That was 100 years ago, so what that would have cost now, nobody has no idea. He obviously went on to open his own hotel chain, the Ritz. It's gone rather well for him. I'm sure he wasn't too bothered. It's a very nice ornate structure just on the left of us. It's called the Eleanor Cross. It's actually a Victorian replica. The original was built in 1291. It was 12 of them that went up and down the country to sort of mark a place. It was a king's wife called Eleanor, a queen, and this plotted out her last journey where they carried her coffin through the country. 12 points where they stopped, and then this got put in each one. But this is a Victorian replica, so it's only 200 years old compared to the originals. There are 3 that still remain. There's one in Lincoln. This is one, obviously a replica, and another one I can't remember what the other one is. So now from here we are going to come back into Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar Square, you can see the 4 lions that sit in front of Nelson's column. They're called Landseer's lions. They're named after the sculptor Landseer. He was very famous for painting dogs and horses. He'd never sculpted a lion before, so to help him out he was given a dead lion from the zoo to base his sculpture on. But these took him 10 years to complete. And obviously he hadn't finished it, he'd only managed to do the heads. But they wouldn't give him another lion to base the sculptures on, so he had to get creative. He didn't have another lion, but he did have a pet Labrador. So if you look at those sculptures, you can see the front paws are more like dog paws. The back legs and the bum folds under in the way that a dog's would, not the way a lion's would. And they're all wagging their tongues like dogs. Canada House here is a High Commission. Same as an embassy because they're part of the Commonwealth, High Commission. Person in charge, High Commissioner, not an ambassador. So now coming on to this road we're just coming on to is Pall Mall. Famous for all of the gentlemen's only clubs are on Pall Mall. They are still here. All those gentlemen only clubs, very sorry to say ladies, they're still gentlemen only, but it's probably the best reason not to go.
Wow.
Here we are, very beautifully lit up. This is Waterloo Place, we're going to head in towards Regent Street. Regent Street is named after the Prince Regent. He was George IV. His father was George III. He was the last, for any Americans, the last British king of America, George III. He was a complete lunatic, lost his mind in his later years. Complete and utter raving madman, really. And it's quite hard to imagine that, isn't it? A complete and utter lunatic being in charge of America. Could you imagine that? Okay. Anyway, George IV was Prince Regent. He was incredibly ugly, George IV. He had a rhyme about him: Georgie, porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. He used to bribe women to sleep with him. He used to pay them what? Offer to pay them hundreds of thousands of pounds, and then never had to give them the money in the end. One of them, that he was so desperate to have sleep with him, he wrote her, because she kept saying no, fair enough, he wrote her a 42-page suicide note to guilt-trip her into sleeping with him. She said she'd do it only if he married her, which he did.
Обалдеть.
Anyway, we're now into Piccadilly Circus.
Обалдеть.
In there, the large billboard in there. Also for Harry Potter fans, those three archways, Ron, Harry and Hermione will meet there, nearly get hit by a bus.
Вау.
So you see, the actual road we're on now is called Piccadilly. This is Piccadilly, that's Piccadilly Circus, where they have where their sort of roundabout is inside there.
Район Пикадилли называется.
Never remember where it is. About to be passing just on the left, Fordham and Mason, which is where the Queen does all of her groceries with Fordham and Mason. This is on the left. That's the Queen's Royal Greengrocers, Fordham and Mason. That's who she has does all her shopping with. So I had the sort of royal standard just on it as well. Also, just on the right, you see Lots of very nice shops around here, isn't there? Way out of my price bracket.
Кафе концерто. Ресторан. Кафе, ресторан, концерто. Beautiful. Самый лучший, самый красивый город в мире — это Лондон. Ну, такие ковры
He used to run the Savoy Hotel, the old concierge. This is our Ritz. So obviously his hotel chain is just on the left of the bus.
Сладости. Пальцы морозятся.
In the 1920s, had all the roaring 20s. That's why the Savoy was
Пальцы замерзли уже.
Basically all the famous clientele, they were at the
Ой,
Savoy.
Ауди.
When they found out that Ritz was leaving, they decided, well, if he's going, we go too. That's why the Ritz became so popular in London. So we're passing just from the left here is Green Park. The reason it's called Green Park is because there's no flowers in there. All the bushes are green, got green grass, trees are green. was bad. Anyway, the reason it's called Green Park is because
Парк,
Charles
Королевский
II
парк.
was once spotted. He was one of our kings.
О, тут ремонт производится какой.
The head of the Renaissance. He was spotted by his wife picking flowers in this park before it was called Green Park, and she thought, oh, he's picking me flowers. Obviously that night when he came home, what happened? He didn't have any flowers because he'd obviously been giving them to somebody else. Well, how hath no fury like a woman's scorn? She then demanded all the flower beds be ripped up in this park, and we'll never have any flower beds in this park again. Here from out it will be known as Green Park. That's why it's called Green Park.
Green Park, зеленый парк и Queen для королев Англии. Парк для избранных. Бальный зал.
The very first, the original Hard Rock Cafe, as well, believe it or not, is just over here on the right of the bus, just over there. The first one, not in America, actually started out here in London. Became incredibly popular because Eric Clapton used to want to reserve a seat, and they wouldn't let him, so he ended up just leaving his guitar there, and that's how he ended up reserving his seat, and then they kept the guitar.
Eric Clapton
Same thing,
играл,
and then it
Hard
sort
Rock
of
Cafe.
developed this
Eric
sort
Clapton.
of iconic status. Anyway, we're coming down in towards Hyde Park Corner. Just on the right there, that very beautiful house that's all lit up in yellow is Apsley House. Was the Duke of Wellington's house. Also, if you wanted to write a letter to London, you would address it to number 1, London. That's the address that it would go to. Come over here, there's the Wellington Monarchy statue on the top, the Lady of
Здесь я тоже была в первый день.
Descending upon the 4 horses of war. Lots of things around here named after the Duke of Wellington, as that was his house. He was also obviously the leader of the Battle of Waterloo, defeated Napoleon. He has more pubs in the country named after him than anything else. Also, the first pub in Australia was called the Duke of Wellington. He has more statues in London as well than anybody else. Also, very famous man, the Duke of Wellington. Anyway, we're just coming back along Buckingham Palace.